Good morning and welcome back to this tutorial with myself, Alan Barnard with White Hat Solutions. And yesterday we went and we built the a IIS server within a AWS EC2 environment, and we got to the point where we have configured the server in relations to giving it a host name, removing the default admin user and replacing it with a new admin user. We have gone and installed the roles, including IIS web server, SMTP and FTP. And what we're going to do now is, and we also went and we moved the inet pub folder to a different drive for security purposes. And then what we did is we backed up the AWS instance, and we have now confirmed that the backup is available, so it's safe to proceed and carry on working. So now I've got the instance back fired up over here, and we're ready to carry on here. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to carry on by just starting to secure the the IIS installation over here. So let's just go and open up the IIS management console. Now you'll see I've got both 6 and 7 installed. Now 6 has become installed as part of the installation of the SMTP server role. The 6 manager is the SMTP server role is dependent on this for the configuration. But we need the newer version, the Internet Information Services Manager. So we're just going to fire that up. And for now, we're not going to be doing an installation of software yet, so we're just going to say no to that. Okay, so now we've got first thing that we need to have a look at is the request filtering, and we're just going to go into that right now. So it's on IIS request filtering, I beg your pardon. And we're just going to go into the HTTP verbs. Now, once again, we're actually on the server level, not on a site level, just so that you're aware where we're actually at here. And we're going to go and we're going to say we want to deny a verb. And the name of the verb that we want to deny, it's all capital letters, it's called options. Now, by denying this verb, you're actually hiding a lot of information about your server. Okay, so that's now been denied, and nobody's able to query this verb. It will be blocked by the server. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we're going to go into the IP addresses and domain restrictions. And we're going to go into edit dynamic restriction settings. And we're just going to tick these two options over here, which is deny IP based on number of concurrent requests, maximum 5. Deny IP based on number of requests over a period of time. So that's basically, it's going to stop any brute force or DDoS attacks that might be happening. Okay, so that's now configured. Okay, so what we're going to quickly have a look at now is the request filtering again for IIS. Now, what we're going to do here, after the WordPress has been installed, we're going to come back and we're going to go into the rules. And we're going to add in a filtering rule, which we will use to block SQL injections. So I'm just going to give this a name. Now, I usually only do this after the final web application has been installed and everything is running, and we know which strings we can filter out. Doing this before can actually break some of the functionality of the server, and your developers are having a tough time trying to figure out what's going on. So it's better just to let them develop the application so we know what strings are going to be required and what strings we can deny. So I'm just going to show you how to do this basically. So we just give it a name, SQL injections, and we're going to scan the URL, and we're going to scan the query string. So this is going to be in the headers. No, we're just going to apply it to all PHP extensions. Okay, so all files that have a PHP extension will be scanned. And so now what we need to do is name the strings that we wish to deny. So a good one to start is drop. Another good one to deny is select. Put that in capitals. Select. And another one that we should deny is from. Okay, those are the ones that are going to be most commonly used in an SQL injection attack. There are going to be more, and I would suggest going through and having a look at a few security documents about SQL injections. This one over here, it's called SQL Injection Cheat Sheet. It was written a few years ago, about 5 years ago, but it's still pretty relevant. He goes and he puts down he abbreviates them by these capital letters over here. So if you have a look at examples, it says MS means M is MySQL and S is SQL Server, so this will apply to both MySQL and SQL Server. So if we go down the list over here, we see SM, which means SQL Server, and MySQL, and these strings apply. So if you have a look over here, it's just basically he goes through telling you everything that you need to know about what injection attacks, and provides examples of classical injection attacks and stuff like that. So once you have figured out what you're going to be running on your server, and you go and you've checked down, you've got a good understanding of how SQL injection works, go ahead and filter out the queries, deny the strings, I should say, that you don't want to be having coming through your the client-side browser. That will pretty much block out SQL injections and hopefully protect your server from these types of attacks. But I'm just going to cancel that for now because we're going to go and do that later. Now that's the end of the security segment here. We're going to carry on. The next video we'll be doing is setting up the actual WordPress installation. But before we do that, if we have a look at this objectives that we had over here, we'll go to the top and we see where we are. We've done this, prepare and secure the instance, prepare Windows server for role installation. We've updated it. We've installed the roles. We've done the basic security for the IIS installation. And now what we're going to do is we're going to carry on with these parts, which is doing the FTP, the SMTP, securing the SQL server installation, which is actually a MySQL server. Let's just correct that right now. And so we've done these. And if we have a look at the steps that we've gone through so far, this is all done. So we don't have to worry about doing this anymore. These things we have done already. This was installing the roles and updating it and changing the old built-in administrator user to a different user account. And what we also needed to do was install the various roles, which we have done over here. And what we haven't done is this one, which is what we're going to do next. When just before we actually install WordPress, we need to go and set up the the site on IIS and give it a and bind its domain name. It's better to do this at this point now, because if you do it later, you may end up finding that you have difficulties losing access to your WordPress installation. So let's rather wait and, well, let's do this next so that we don't have that problem later. So I'm just going to cross that out. We've actually done a little bit more over here. We've set up that we've done the security. We've done the iNet pub. We've moved that. We've disabled the options method. We have configured dynamic IP restrictions, and we have done some basic request filtering. And as I said over there, we're going to do this a bit more after we've installed the PHP application. Oh yes, and one last thing we should look at quickly is the login, just to make sure that it's not been that it is enabled and that it's not been pushed through into the system drive, which could cause the system to crash if it fills up. So let's just go back over here and just check that right now. Here we go. It's IIS and login, and as you can see, it is enabled, and we have it going to this separate data directory, partition that we had set up, the D drive, rather than the C drive, which is what we want. And you'll also see that once we've got the FTP set up and everything, also the FTP logs will be going there as well. Okay, and that's it for now. And we're going to carry on next with setting up the DNS for the domain name that we're going to be using. Make sure it's pointing to the correct Elastic IP address, and then once that is done, we're going to go and bind the domain name to IIS, and then we can proceed to install WordPress.